Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at BTC. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Okay, so the primary way I'm still looking at this corrective move to the downside is there's a bigger W, X, and a Y. And now what I'm looking for here is two things. So potentially we could either be in this Y wave still, in which case we could see price move towards this 23,736, or alternatively what we could be is actually within this X wave, in which case we could actually see price continue to the upside here, where we could see price move in between this zone of this 29,780 and this 27,669 level. Now this would be a shallow retracement here, and we'd be looking for the possibility of a flat correction. So I'm going to go over that idea first, and then we'll go over the idea that we still got continuation directly to the downside here. Now, if we are looking at this as a flat, what we're looking at is this is A, this is B, and then effectively we're looking for a 5-wave move here in a C wave. Now, what we need to be cautious of is that what we can get here is a running flat, in which case what we'd be looking for would actually be this 27,332. Alternatively, within this instance, we do actually have this area here of this 28,366 and this 27,966, which is still below this A wave high. So I would still be cautious if we do see price push up here and actually look to interact with these levels. This could actually still become a running flat and fail to take the high, though the expanding flat variation is more common, in which case we'd be looking for this target of this 29,025. Now, if we're arguing that this is an A, this is a B completed, and what we're looking for is effectively a 5-wave move to the upside here, what we would be looking at is something along these lines, where we would be arguing that either within the structure here, we have this move here. So I'm actually going to come down into the hourly. What we could have is this as 1, 2, this is 1, 2, and effectively, as long as we hold this line of this 26,181, we could potentially have this as another 1, 2. Now, I was more of a fan of this when we were having this correction here. I'm becoming less of a fan of it the longer this is dragged on here. Now, it is also possible within this structure that we could still have this as 1, 2, 1, and then we're looking for a bigger 2 here. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. If we do see price actually take this invalidation point at this 26,181, I'd be on the lookout for that possibility of finding support here between this 25,994 to this 25,522. Now, if we did find a 3-wave move to the downside here, what we could see is this push down one more time into this level, and what we'd be looking at is something along these lines. We'd be treating this as ABC, and then we'd be looking for that potential of a 3-wave move to the upside. Now, our rejection area for this would be this 26,670 to this 26,456. So if we do just get a 3-wave move to the upside here and we fail to actually take these highs, what I'd then be looking for would be that continuation to the downside. So I've taken this just off of the 0.618 here, which would be this 26,581, though it would be quite an interesting area higher up here towards this zone of this 26,670 level, looking to actually come back and interact with some of these highs. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. If we do see price maintain this line of this 26,255, we could just see a 3-wave move up here. Even though it's not my primary expectation, we need to still be on the lookout for that extension here, where we could actually have this as a 1 and 2 until we actually break below this 26,181. Now this would signal the potential for a much bigger push to the upside, where our actual 3rd wave would be here towards this zone of this 28,476. So if we do see price actually start to react to the upside in a much more aggressive way, I'd be keeping an eye on this count, where we could actually have this as 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we're looking for this continuation up. Like I said, there is potentially a way we can count this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we could actually have this, still looking at a 1, 2 situation. Yeah, the target would be much the same at the moment, but what we'd want to see is, that confirmation of price pushing to the upside and looking to get back above these highs, because as long as we remain below these highs here, there is a bearish scenario here. Now, the other way we're talking about this is we were talking about counting this slightly different, in which case what we were saying is that we were looking at this as 1, 2, this is 3, this is 4, and this is 5. Now, it is technically possible. The thing is, within this, the wave 2 would have been bigger than the wave 4. So now this is why I've got these alternate counts labeled up here. For as long as we hold this 25,994, what we could actually see here is price could actually still see another leg to the downside here. So as long as we hold this 4th wave area, it is possible that we could actually argue that within this count, what we have here is actually this move as 1, 2, 3, this is a 4, and then this is a 5. Alternatively, we argue that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 completed, and we could be looking for this B wave. Now, if we fail to hold this level here of this 25,994, what we could actually be doing is looking for this lower zone here of this as a B wave. Now, it is always possible we could get a shallow B wave, something like this, but what I'd want to see is, ideally, I'd want to see a move back down into some of these lower levels here, this 382 and the 786. Now, it's quite interesting because we do have a weekly naked point of control over here towards this zone of this 25,947. As well as that, if we're looking for this possibility of a 3-wave move up here, we do have a daily naked point of control sitting here towards this 26,544. So I would be keeping an eye on those levels in case price comes back up here, sweeps this, gets into this zone, and then looks to actually come back down and looks to take out this weekly naked point of control. Now, we do also have some naked points of control lower down here towards this 25,596 and this area here of this 24,976. Now, this blue line here is just a time relationship between this wave 2 and this wave 4. I don't really want to see this get bigger than 4. That really becomes as big as I want to see it. You know, when we start to get over that 4 times the length of the wave 2 in time, it starts to become less likely that it's actually related to that count. And if we do see something like that, it's more likely that this is A, this is B, and then we're looking for that C wave to the upside. So this is looking for this ABC. 1-to-1 would actually be here if we come down towards a 7-8, towards a 618 here at this 25,603, would be here at this 27,801. Though, like I said, you know, we need to be cautious because even if this is an A, a B, and a C, what we could see is this could actually hold this higher level here of this 382 to this 50%, where this just becomes A, B, C, and then we look for this push to the upside. So we're going to have to keep an eye on those levels. Alternatively, you know, this whole move could just become an A wave, we see a B wave, and then we see a C wave lower down here. So we're going to have to keep an eye on these levels and see if the price actually confirms this higher potential of a direct breakout here, whether we lose this low and whether we look to push down deeper here. And then it's going to be key because the structure is going to tell us which one of these counts is accurate if it is looking to extend up. Either this will be A, B, and C if we move up to this 1-to-1, or alternatively 1.618 up here at this 29,254 would actually align with this idea of a wave 3 to the upside. So that would tie into that idea of a flat correction. So these moves, as long as we actually hold this low here of this 24,800, it is possible that we could see this start to break to the upside. Another thing we talked about is that it's still actually possible that we are in a bigger W, an X, and a Y here. And what we could still see is a push to the downside. Now, what we need to be careful of here is that we could potentially argue this is a flat in itself here. And if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that could be completed up here. Now, what I'd want to see here, if this is the case, to confirm it, is this high in place here at this 26,839. I don't want to see price move back above that. And then what I'd want to see is 5-wave structure developing to the downside. Now, that would be looking for something along these lines. Now, this would be on the shorter term here. Instead of looking at it as a corrective structure to the downside, what we'd be looking for would actually be the potential that we start to break down in a bigger way. Now, if we do form something like this, which would be a 5-wave moves off the highs here, then it would mean that this move here either needs to be a wave 1 once completed or an A wave. So if we get a 5-wave move here, I'd be looking out for that potential that this is A, B, and C, or alternatively 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, looking for a continued breakdown. Now, what we're looking for within this is that as long as we remain below this 26,700 level, we need to be cautious because we could actually be setting this up as a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we actually see price start to break down in a more aggressive way, in which case this 25,770 is going to be our typical 3rd wave target. Now, we always can get an extension here, so we need to just be aware of that. But what I'd be looking for, given the current structure we have, is that potential that, like I said, of even if we're looking at this move, it wouldn't be uncommon to think that we could get a push up one more time here. For as long as we hold this 26,255, we could see A, B, and C looking to target out this higher target box between this 26,605 to this 26,400. 426, and then we could actually see this break to the downside. So this is looking for that more bearish scenario. Now what we need to still be cautious of within this is if this is A, B, and C, we could see a price actually get pushed down towards these levels and then reverse and take the high of this, making this just a corrective move. So I would still be on the lookout for that, because this is quite an interesting area for a retest. So if we do see a direct breakdown here, the key thing is going to be waiting for this fourth wave to develop. If we fail to actually reject again off this 26147, then the likelihood is that, you know, this could just be a corrective move, and then we have that push to the upside again. If, however, we do see like a three-wave move up here, but fail to take this high, it's always possible this move could be starting to build out here. So we need to just be aware that really, as long as this high of this 26,700 is in place, we need to be cautious of this idea of having a direct break to the downside. So if we did hit that 1618, we'd be looking for a fourth and a fifth, and an additional fourth and a fifth, looking to push us down into some of these lower levels here. Now this would tie into the idea of that breakdown, where we're looking for that continuation to the downside, with this as a flat correction. And that would tie into still being within that B wave. So we need to just be a bit cautious of this move. If we do start to break down in a bigger way here, we just need to be careful, because we do have a couple of counts which are calling for some more downside here, where we could actually look at this whole move as an A wave, and then, you know, we could even get 1 2 3 4 5 ABC 1 2 3 4 5, looking to come back into this channel, retest some of these lows before looking for this push to the upside. So this would be looking at the Y wave actually being in play from over here. We would be treating this as an A wave, and then looking for this as ABC. Now the typical zone of rejection here would be this 27,628 to this 26,572. So we need to just keep an eye on this. If we do just see, you know, bigger breakdown here, even if this is in 5 waves, 1 2 3 4 5, what we could see is, like I said, that zigzag to the downside, and then still actually look to be in this B wave and still look to push up and sweep some of these highs. This area here is particularly interesting to me. Obviously, if we do see price push up here, I would be wanting to see how we react around those zones, because that could actually look at you know, sweeping these highs before looking for that move to the downside. Having a look at the CPR here on the daily, what we can see is we are between these center lines here, and we're sort of bouncing between this little range here. Now, if we do look to break to the upside, what I'd be looking to see is if we get a reaction off this 26604, and then if we are looking at that possibility of that additional fifth wave, this would tie into the idea of actually having another move to the upside here, where we could actually see this S3 sitting along this 27k region, which would be an interesting zone as a wave 5, because it would also fit within this target box. So I'll be keeping an eye on this level if we do see price push to the upside. Alternatively, we have the S2 here at this 26,880, and the S3 at this 27,326. Now, if we do see price start to break down, we got some interesting levels here that are aligning with some of our fib levels, which would actually be this R1 towards this 26,166, the R2 at this 25,982. Then lower down here we have the R3 at this 25,723, and this 25,543 level would actually tie into that idea of coming back into that golden pocket. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on these levels as we see the day go on, and see if we do start to either break back above these, or whether we continue to reject down and start to follow that more bearish scenario here, or whether this is just a bigger corrective move. Now, we also got some new weekly CPRs printed today. Now, what I'm looking for here is we can see that we are currently above the weekly CPR line. So price could be gravitated back down to these. And what I'd be looking for would be that potential of coming down and testing either this 26,166, this 25,990, or this 25,819. If we do see price hold this level, that could tie into that idea of continuation to the upside. Though, like I said, we need to be cautious until we break these highs. We do have that possibility of a direct breakdown. If we do see price explode through this zone, then what I'd be looking for would be the possibility of coming back down here to this 25,145. And I would be looking to come back and retest this R1 line. Now, the reason this would be interesting to me is it would be potentially a sweep of this low here. So I would want to see how price reacts here. If we do just see a bigger move to the downside that looks to sweep this low, there is a potential we could actually see this then come back and start to move back to the upside in a bigger corrective structure as A, B, and C. Though it would depend how we break down here. If we break down in that 5-wave move, we need to be cautious of the fact of breaking into this zone. If we do look to break down deeper, we have the R2 here at this 23,947, and we have the R2 here at this 23,954, and we have the R3 here at this 23,117 level. Alternatively, if we do look to find support here, what I'd be looking for would be that potential that we could actually see price be gravitated towards this S1 line here at this 27,186. Once again, that ties in with that idea of that additional fifth here. The R2 here, the S2 here at this 28,031, and the S3 here at this 29,233. So be keeping an eye on these levels. If we do see price start to move up here, potentially what we could see is an interaction with these zones. Now we're going to go over the monthly again. We've been over these a few times within the videos. We are currently still sitting here in between the monthly CPR lines and the R1 line. So now what I'm looking for here is that still that idea of actually moving back up into this channel and looking to actually retest this level. If we do see price come back up here, you know, it could be a retest of this 27,416 to this 27,819 before price looks to continue its trend. Now, this would be interesting for me because we'd be looking to come back into these highs. So if we do see that corrective structure here where we just see this as ABC, like I said, you know, there's the potential that we could see either a shorter B wave here, or we get a little move up here and then we get another move down as a corrective move, where this becomes our A wave. We get this as a B, and then we'd be looking for that C wave. This would tie in nicely to coming back into this level. It would be looking to sweep these highs, retest the top of the channel. There's a couple of interesting things here. So, you know, I'm just going to be keeping an eye on that. If we do see price actually start to break down though, what I would be looking out for would be this R2 line here sitting at this 23,614. And then obviously we still have the R1 line here, which could offer us support. So if we see a deeper move here, looking for a deeper retracement, I'd be on the lookout to see how we react around this line. Potentially this could offer us support, even if it is temporarily, before we see something like this play out. Or alternatively, we could see price come through these levels and then start to move away. Like I said, if we do move down this low though, it would make a lot of sense for me that we come and sweep this low over here. So we'll have to just see exactly how that plays out. Alternatively, on the monthly, moving above these CPR lines would then allow the potential for testing out this S1 line here at this 29,400. We have the S2 here at this 31,611, and then we have the S3 at this 33,433 level. Now, an interesting thing here, if we look at this monthly range that we have here, so this is just for the current month, we can see that we are actually currently sitting above this point of control, which is sitting here at this 26,402. If we continue to hold this level, we could actually see price be gravitated to the upside here, looking to retest this value area high, which would be sitting here towards this 27,241. So I'd be interested in this zone, like I said previously, you know, as a possible retest of the channel and looking to sweep these highs. It'll be interesting to see whether we actually get that playing out. As well as that, if we look at this area as an entire range here, we can see that we've actually managed to push back up above this value area low. Now, what I'm on the lookout for here is that if we do continue to hold this level, what we could see is price be gravitated towards this point of control, which is sitting up here towards this 2873 level. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. You know, that could tie into that idea of the extension where we see price move up here and look to retest some of these higher levels. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. You know, this is going to be quite an interesting zone here. We can see we've had many interactions with this, both as support and as resistance on the other side of it. So be interested to see how we react if we do see price get gravitated up here. And then alternatively, if we do look to push up higher than this high, we're very interested to see how we react towards this zone here of this 28,669. And we do actually have a target box up here towards this 29,142 and this 28,887 level. So that would be some key areas that I'd be having a look at if we do actually look to push up here. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It is free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.